Hello, we will be talking about direct realism. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Martin.
So, an introduction to direct realism. It is a theory of perception that states that the immediate objects of our perception are mind-independent objects. So, we perceive the external world directly. This means that when you see something, you are perceiving it in the exact form that it actually exists in, without any differentiation. Full stop. Direct realism is generally argued by appealing to common sense, as it seems intuitively true. Full stop. However, there are four main objections that face direct realism, and we will be going through them now. Full stop. The first one is the argument from perceptual variation. The argument from perceptual variation is that you can change the way you perceive an object, and if there are multiple different perceptions, then one of them has to be incorrect. As with direct realism, you're supposed to be able to see the object in its true form. Full stop. This is demonstrated by the example of a table. If you view a table from above, it may look rectangular, but if you view a table from a few meters away, it may take the shape of a rhombus or a kite. Full stop. Well, obviously, a table can't be both a rectangle and a rhombus and a kite at the same time. So that means that what changes is your perception of it, not the object itself. One way direct realists attempt to respond is to introduce the idea of relational properties. Full stop. A relational property is a property that varies based on something else. Full stop. This means that perceiving something from a certain angle is a property the object can have. Full stop. This means that when the perceiver changes, the object stays the same and is perceived with a different relational property. Full stop. The second objection against direct realism is the argument from illusion. The argument from illusion is that when you are perceiving an illusion, it misrepresents the real object. Full stop. With an illusion, our perception of something can differ from how it actually is. Full stop. For example, when you put a pencil in water, it can look crooked when in reality it is not. Full stop. In direct realism, when we see the pencil, it would actually have to be crooked. Full stop. The direct realist response to this argument is the same as the last. That when we see the crooked pencil, this is a relational property of the pencil when viewed in water. Full stop. Martin, you take over. Come out.
Thank you. So next is the argument from hallucination. The argument from hallucination is an argument that when we are hallucinating, we perceive things that aren't even there. For example, you can see a person and they may appear real, but they may not exist at all. This goes against direct realism because direct realism suggests that when you are perceiving something, the object exists in the way that you are perceiving it. With hallucinations, some of the things you perceive are not there. This means that our hallucinations aren't being caused by an external world. Unlike perceptual variation and the argument from illusion, this cannot be explained by relational properties because for something to have a relational property, it has to be an object. But with hallucinations, there is no object to possess such a property. Next is the argument from the time gap, which is the fourth argument against direct realism. The argument from time gap is an argument that suggests that when you look at an object, you may be perceiving its past form. For example, the sun is...
Martin can't read. 149,600,000
kilometers from Earth, and light travels at
299,792,558
meters per second, which means it takes approximately
8
minutes for light to reach Earth. If we are perceiving the sun in its form 8 minutes ago, then there is a difference between the sun and your perception of it. The direct realist response to this may be that we were still perceiving the light directly, but that light represents how the sun was 8 minutes ago. A summary of direct realism. The external world is mind independent, meaning the external world exists independently of the mind. We perceive the world directly, and this theory is supported by intuition and common sense. The main problems are perceptual variation, illusion, hallucination, and time gap. Thanks for listening.
Are we done? Okay, nice. Thank you for listening, everyone. Bye bye bye. make sure to subscribe to Philosophy for Dismay! Exclamation mark.